Hello, my name is King Awesome, and welcome to another video. Now, as you can tell by the background noise, there is none, because this is a more serious video. Because if anybody here on the YouTube side has been unaware, I have been dealing with having to live in a house owned by a terrible slumlord who does not care about me, my family, my animals, or our well-being, anything. Nothing. Just cares about his house. That's it. And from start to end is just horrible. The way he treated us is just absurd. It's insane. And I'll start off from the top. So, February 2024. We decided that we wanted to move out of the house. I actually started streaming in for where I've lived in also for 7 years. He's like, we're getting tired of living in this house. So we look around for houses that are in the area for rent. We find one that happens to be close. So we rent it. And the guy we're renting it from is an old man. His name is... And I refer to my old landlord as Mr. Butt from now on. Anyways, Mr. Butt was nice to start off with. February 2024, we went and seen the house, signed the lease. And it was okay, cool. But it was dated for April, or March. It was dated for March, because he said, well, I have to fix up the house first. So he had to fix up the house, right? And we moved in that following March. March 2nd, to be exact. That's when the first day started. And oh boy, was it a fucking day. Because I damn near broke my ankle. I sprained it fairly bad. It was swollen by the end of the day. I had gotten a good fair bit of my supplies over to my new bedroom. I had my own private bathroom for a year. Kind of good. And then it just went from that. And as me and my brother, because me and my brother spent the first night there, while my parents stayed at our old place, keep an eye on our cats, so we can get them over to the new place. And in that process, while me and my brother were at the new place, we are talking. We go in his room. He shuts his door. The door knob was on the wrong way. The lock was on the outside, which was already locked. So we locked ourselves by accident in this bedroom. So I had to bust open his screen, climb out his window, jump, and avoid hitting the plastic barrier that's over the basement windows, which is where my room was, and land in the grass, hurting my ankle that was already swollen even more. Run around till I saw that one of the doors was unlocked, went in, and unlocked his bedroom door from the outside. Because my old landlord, who was 70 years old, not know how to put the door in correctly, the doorknob in correctly, because we locked ourselves in. I do not know why he did it that way. I guess he just missed it. That's one thing that went wrong, right? You're probably thinking, oh, King, that's just something small. Oh, believe me, it gets worse. And then eventually we get everybody moved over, all the animals moved over, everything. A couple weeks go by. It's mid to late March. Actually, late March. I just get done doing a stream with the Snowy Rig. In case somebody doesn't know what the Snowy Rig is, it's this. Where I talk as the penguin, using my VTuber rig. I just got done doing that stream, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed. About 3 or 4 a.m., right? I'm like, I'll go to bed. I go to bed. Unbeknownst to me, a pipe burst in the basement, in the other room, where my cats are. They are scared shitless. They all book it to the top of the highest point they can reach in there. And I am asleep. I don't know if this is happening. My computer's on, and there's water flooding into my room as I'm sleeping. I don't notice anything until I hear my brother shout, like, what the hell? There's water everywhere. What the fuck's going on? And it startles me awake. I'm like, what's going on? What he's talking about? I look down. I'm like, oh, fuck. I see that there's water about an inch high all around my room, around my computer, which was turned on. Luckily, I didn't get shocked, and my computer survived, obviously, because I'm using it right now. And I unplugged my computer from the wall because I had it plugged into like an extension cord because that's the only outlet that I had. So I unplugged it and everything was off. And I dried out the area afterwards. And I was shoveling water because the way that the basement sloped in the other room that led to like the laundry room was sloped, and the water was cut a little higher as I got towards the slope. And there's this little concrete barrier that like this wide, and it went around like this, around the drain for the laundry, where the water from the flood was not getting to. So I had to shovel it literally with either whatever I could find. Oops, excuse me. Whatever I could find. Whether it be a broom, shovel, a bucket, whatever. I was shoveling water. I'm like, I gotta get this fucking water away from my shit. And it worked. I have never worked that hard in my life to get water out. And we told the landlord about it. He rushed down to have a look at the damage. I was like, oh, Mr. Butt, it's bad. It's bad. And then he looked at it. He's like, and then he immediately starts to blame our cats. Now let me go back just a tiny bit. When we were moving in, him and his wife, Mr. and Mrs. Butt, were already complaining somewhat about animals. And I was wondering why they're complaining so much about animals. They said cats are okay. They didn't want no dogs. They said cats were fine. And I guess it turns out they didn't like animals, period, because they didn't like our cats either. Because my Mr. Butt was already starting to blame our cats for the flood. Now, keep in mind, this is what happened. Pipe was an old PVC pipe, 30 plus years old, right? And it was a vertical break. It wasn't like this, because some of the pipes in this back room, because there was a laundry room and then a back storage area, some of the pipes were exposed. And it was a vertical break. My landlord, I need to quit calling him my landlord. He's not my landlord. Mr. Butt was blaming it on the cats. How can a cat make a pipe break vertically? Explain that. Explain that, please. I'd like to know. But I asked him, I said, how old are these pipes? And he was like, oh, I did put these in about 30 years ago. And I'm like, well, there you go. It's an old pipe. It just broke under the pressure. So that's what happened. And then for like about a month and a half, I had to spend so much of my time, every couple hours, either me or someone else, going into the other room and dumping a bucket of water that had the pipe drip, because he would temporarily fix it until we got it fixed. And we had to spend like every few couple hours dumping buckets of water down the drain. Otherwise, it would start to flood again. And it was a pain in the ass. And that's not even the worst part. So time goes on. Mr. Butt is already complaining still about our animals. He has a stick up his ass or something. I don't know. And then comes summertime. It's like middle of the summer, and our air conditioner, which is a central air unit, stops working. And again, Mr. Butt blames our cats. He says that they clogged the filter with their fur. Number one, they're nowhere fucking near any vents. All the vents are in the air. How can their fur go up into the vent? They'd have to be laying on it. And number two, the filter is inside the thing. How would that even happen? So Mr. Butt has a repair person come out, and they look at it and they say, this filter was not right for this air unit, because it was the wrong thickness. It was the right size, but it was just too thick for the filter, for the vent and the air conditioning unit to handle. Because it was usually like, I'll put up a picture of what I'm talking about. It's like this, where it's like really, really thick, and like the lines are like so much far apart, right? And then the one we had to put in they're more spread out in the filter. He put the wrong one in. That's his fault, not ours. And yet he immediately started to blame our cats again. And so did the repairman as well. They both blamed it. our cats, even though the repairman did say that it was the wrong filter too. And then after that happens, Mr. Butt had to go have heart surgery, open heart surgery. And while he was still recovering, he came over unannounced with him and Mrs. Butt while he was still had a fresh scar on his chest, showing it to all of us. Disgusting. It's gross. Like, dude, you need to go home and heal. Lay the fuck down. Heal. Let that shit heal. Don't show us your nasty wound. He brought over the proper filters that we needed for our air conditioning unit / furnace. He brought those over so we could put them in. And he wasted no time going down into the basement and looking at the cats. Or not looking at the, just looking to make sure it's clean. And we clean this room weekly or bi-weekly. And he's already complaining about, there's a smell. Well, duh. Cats have a litter box. You can't, do you expect it to smell like fucking sunshine and roses? No. Okay? It smells like cat piss every once in a while. You clean it out, clean it, bleach it or whatever, and then you put fresh litter in every once in a while, right? Which is like once or twice a week. Or it depends on how often your cats use your litter box. We do that. And he happens to come by that day when we were low on supplies. We had to restock. We had to go get more litter and more stuff to make it smell nice and cleaner. So he comes by and complains about the smell when we're low on supplies. That's kind of bad on him to like barge in when we're having a rough time. Does this anyway. Complains about the animals. Again. He says, you guys need to get rid of some of your cats. Please. All right. And so, okay, fine. More time goes by. And he comes by again, sometime around, say, September. Maybe early October. And he's like, oh, smells better in here. You guys are doing good. I mean, you still need to get rid of some of the cats, though. You still need to get rid of some of the cats, though. It smells better in here. You guys are doing a good job. It's good. And then he leaves. All right. Everything's fine. And then more time rolls on. This is now December, early December. Comes by again. Sees that he smells, there's still smell on here. I still smell it. And he told us this time that he was coming by beforehand. We spent the night before cleaning the absolute fuck out of his house. Every room mopped, swept. We bleached the floor in the basement rooms. Like we cleaned so much in the basement rooms that my eyes were actually stinging from the cleaner of how much we used. It was that overwhelming. And even then, he still complained about a smell. It smells like cleaner in here. It doesn't smell like fucking cat piss. Either he's smelling his own ass or he just has no sense of smell. And he claims that we're nose blind to it. We literally bleached the whole goddamn room and he's still complaining about a fucking smell. It's bullshit. And then he says, you guys need to get rid of all your cats or I'm not renewing your lease. That's it. And then I'm like, well, you can't just tell us to get rid of our animals just because you don't like them. And this is when I get into it with him. I had enough. I had enough of him harassing me and my family, my animals. I had enough. Nobody messes with me and my girls. I'll put the pictures right here and here. Mittens, Snowbell. These are my two cats. Nobody messes with one of my girls. I had enough. I was getting angry. I was getting in his face. He was getting in mine. He got in my face first, to be honest. But we were arguing back and forth. It's like, you need to calm the fuck down. Leave our fucking cats alone. And you need to butt out of it. Leave them alone. They're not damaging your fucking house. Do you think they're shitting on the fucking walls or something? No. Do you expect the litter box to be fucking clean, as beautiful, pristine every day? No. And he's complaining about his smell. He's like, you need to get rid of all your cats. And then he tells me, so well, you can take your cats and you can get out of here then. It's just saying it to me specifically, not my family. So basically saying he wants to kick me out. To be fair, and actually not to be fair, to say, I believe he was moderately homophobic and racist because he claimed that he didn't want to rent to anybody that were the same sex or roommates. or anybody who was not white. So casual, bigoted 70-year-old man, pretty much. And this was the straw that broke the camel's back with us and him. As we were arguing, voices were getting raised, and it was coming to a head when I was like, "You need to get the fuck out of here and just get out." He's like, "I'm not renewing your lease. You guys gotta get out of here. When your lease is done, you guys gotta get out. I'm done." I'm like, "Well, I'm fucking done with you." So then, as he's leaving, I call his wife senile, and to be fair, she actually kind of is, because she kind of walks off on the days and kind of forgets what she's doing. Even though I've only met her and seen her a few times, I can pretty much tell that she's not all up. She's not all there. And he gives me a death glare like this. He's like, he gives me a death glare, right? Hang on, my glasses. Gives me a death glare. As if he's wanting to call me a homophobic slur, otherwise known as the word. And he didn't, because I have a feeling he knew why. I know why he didn't, because there was me, my older brother, my mom, and my dad all standing behind me, staring down at him. And he knew that if he insulted me, I would have his ass on hate crime for insulting me and harassing me for just purely out of hate. So, and then he threatens to call animal control on my cats. They have done nothing wrong. They're just innocent animals living their life as comfortably as they can. And he's out here saying ridiculous bullshit that they're destroying his house. They have not destroyed anything. Okay? Nothing was damaged in that house. The only thing that was damaged was my mental psyche for having to deal with a flood, air conditioning problems, power outages. Okay? Enough bullshit. Dealing with him was enough. So, come January of this year, he finds out that we're still trying to find a car. Because we're telling him, how are we supposed to go look for a home? Because we didn't have a car at this point. For about a year, almost a full year at this point, we didn't have a car. And out of his deep, dark heart, if there even is one, even if he doesn't have, if he even has one, he decided that he would give us money, $500 cash, to go down as a payment on a car. And then we use some of our money that we had to save for moving, because he said, don't pay any more rent, use this money to move, to get out of my house. At least he was trying to help us leave. He gave us some money, we found a car, and we had issues with that car for a little bit, and now it's working fine. But we got this car, we went and looked for houses, and we spent between beginning of January all the way through March looking and looking and looking and looking and looking. And as time was ticking down, towards the end of February, he was like, you guys need to get out of my house soon. I got to get this house fixed. I got to fix this house up. I don't know what Mr. Butt was complaining about. We were trying our fucking hardest. Shit is hard to look for a fucking house when your whole family doesn't make a proper income that satisfies the 3 times monthly bullshit that a lot of these places require these days. There's so many places these days that require your whole household to make 3 times in monthly rent. Like, if I were to rent a place that's $1,200 a month, my income would have to be $3,600 or more. There's no point in my income having to be that high. If I can pay for the rent, take it as is. There should be no reason for them to harass me about making more money. That's none of their business how much money I should make. But I understand that they want us to make that amount of money so they can make sure I don't default and miss payments. That's understandable. But if I have enough money to cover it, income-wise, just the rent, they should take it and shut the fuck up. Anyways, time moves on. we're in March now, and we have to convince Mr. Butt to give us more time because we're still trying to find a place to live. He can't just kick two elderly people, one disabled, and he can't kick a disabled adult and another somewhat disabled adult out on the street. That's kind of disrespectful and pretty much against the law, really, to kick any elderly people out on the street just because they can't find a place. We were trying our hardest. Literally day after day after day, I was looking at Zillow listings, apartments.com, Rently, whatever website you can think of for renting houses, I was looking at. And I was looking at all these listings, and either we didn't qualify for them, or we just couldn't go to them, or what have you. And it came down to the last few days. We found the place that I'm currently living in now within 2 days before he had us forced to, before he was going to force us to leave, which was March 29th. He was going to force us out on March 29th. We found the place in time on March 27th, and he was relieved to hear that, but he still wanted us out. So he gave us another whole week till that following Friday, which was April 4th. So, yeah, we finally moved into this place on the 1st and 2nd of April. Well, actually, the first week was in the 2nd because we started to move in because they had to get this place fixed up. It wasn't all the way done yet, but we moved in, and the last few days were hectic, and I do mean hectic because I almost left some of my streaming equipment behind. In fact, during one of my last checks of my old bedroom, I almost lost my royal scepter. Good thing I went back and saw it there, otherwise I would have been pissed. So, the ending of the story continues with Mr. Butt being an inconsiderate asshole. But I will say that he also gave us another additional $500 to go down as a down payment on our deposit. Because he wanted us out that bad. He said, well, you guys can't cover it. I'm just here. Because we asked him nicely, and he did ask if we needed help. Although it sounded like Mrs. Butt didn't want him to do it. So I guess they had some problems of their own. And Mr. Butt was frantically wanting us out of his house as fast as possible because he is a missionary for, those religious people. And he said, I gotta get this house fixed up before May. I gotta be out of the country. So I assume by now he's probably in Kenya getting, slaughtered or something, or harassed or something. I don't know what goes on there. All I know is that he's probably gonna end up getting himself killed. And I don't wish death upon the man. I don't. I really don't. But with what I've heard about missionaries happening in other countries, it's not going to end well for him. But yeah, he gave us some money to go towards our down payment on our deposit. It helped a little bit. In the end, on our last day of getting stuff out of the house, because they spent a few nights here already at this point, on our last day, which was Friday, April 4th. It was raining, and it was raining torrential throughout the whole day. It was wet, soggy, disgusting, kind of chilly, cold. And we had all 4 of my family members who live in the house, me, my dad, my brother, and my mom. And we had my sister and my nephew come and help us. I mean, my nephew stayed inside most of the time. If he came outside, he wore his, raincoat. And my sister was helping us throw stuff on the truck. I was getting sick. I was dry heaving over the edge of the truck, putting stuff in. I tore my rotator cuff in the process of moving stuff over here. The pain didn't affect me until a little while later. And we call him up. We wanted to see if he can give us till the next day when the weather was clear. Because we didn't want to work in this rain. It was cold. It was wet. The rain looked like it wasn't going to stop. It was just torrential the whole day. And he said, no, very rudely. He's like, no, I need you out of my house by 5. I'm done with this. I'm tired of this. I'm not giving you any more time. You guys gotta be out now by 5 p.m. So, that's it. He was he's pretty much burning the bridges with a fucking match and lighter fluid. Just burning the bridges. I didn't care at that point. I wanted to be out of his house too. I got tired of it. Mainly because I didn't have any fresh air in my bedroom. I lived in the basement. The windows did not open. I was getting sick just from not having fresh air. And we all got sick. Except for I think my sister didn't get as sick as we thought, but my dad almost caught pneumonia from doing stuff in the cold. My brother got a cold. My mom got a cold. I got a little cold. We all got sick. I blame Mr. Butt for all of that. Because he didn't have the common human decency to let us work not in the rain. He let us work in the rain. Forced us to work in the rain. He didn't give us the time to wait until the weather was clear. He wanted us out of his house as soon as possible. He did not care if we got sick. He did not care if we possibly could die from pneumonia, which my dad almost caught pneumonia. He's 60 at the time. He was 65 years old. My dad has COPD, which is a chronic lung condition. I was worried about my dad for a full week until he got better. Except he didn't. He had to take medication for almost 3 weeks until he was better. He's all right now, thank God. But with the way that Mr. Butt treated us was horrible. And another thing, going back into December, when me and him were arguing about our pets, I said, you shouldn't be talking about my pets this way. They're my family. And he said, they're not human. They're not human. I'm like, does that fucking matter? Family is family, whether they're human or not. Like, he obviously probably not even had animals as a child. He wouldn't have understood that having a pet is your family as well. Especially if you grow up having a pet your whole fucking life. I should know. I had a Siamese cat from the age of 6 to 18. And he, actually no, 7 to 18. He died when he was 12 years old. And that tore me up because that cat was part of our family. And even to this day, we still think about this cat. I still think about him. My dad still thinks about him. My mom and brother. We all miss this cat. But obviously, Mr. Butt did not understand the meaning of having a pet and having them as your family. He did not understand this. Something he did not clearly understand. So, he was just a terrible human being. We went from living into a shitty house to living in a house owned by a shithead. And in my life, I'm only 25 years old. In my life, I have never had to deal with the scumbag, rude, homophobic, racist, piece of shit, garbage human being like that in my life. And it was the most horrible mistake we have ever made living situation-wise. I'm glad we're done with that. We're living somewhere peaceful and quiet now. We're gone with him. We're done with him. We're done. I don't give a fuck what he's doing now. I don't care about what he's doing now. He can rot in hell for all I care. I don't care. From the time we moved in, from my first day in that house to the very last day in that house, is 398 days. Basically 400 days of absolute hell. And it's taken a toll on me and my family. Because for the first month of living here, I kept having PTSD of somebody barging up to my door, banging it, saying, get out. I kept having nightmares. I kept having traumatizing nightmares. I would wake up in a cold sweat and realize everything's fine. It took me a whole month to actually just to get out of that funk and realize that everything was back to normal. Some normalcy for once. And I don't think I'll ever fully recover from this shit. Ever. I might have to end up going seeking therapy. I used to have therapy before when I was a teenager, but I'm going to go seek therapy again. All this bullshit that has been brought to my family was unjustified. We did not deserve this treatment from such a cowardice, rude, ingenuine, terrible piece of shit human being. Yes, he did give us some money for our car, to go down on a car and to go on our down payment for our rent. But he only did that because he wanted us gone. He knew that we were poor and they knew we couldn't get all the money in time. So he's just doing it just to get us out. That's it. He's basically paying us to leave. Other than that, he's a complete asshole. If any of you people in this world ever meet somebody like I wish you the best of luck, because he is a huge asshole. Don't mess with slumlords, dude. Just basically, that's the whole story. Don't fuck with slumlords. They're assholes. They're cheap, gritty, dirty. They do anything for a cheap buck just to make them fucking places look fancy. So that's my spiel. I spent 400 days of hell living in a shitty house, flat fucking roof, fucked upstairs, a ceiling that wasn't high enough yet, fucked up basement that wasn't even properly built down there to begin with, and all sorts of things that were wrong with this house. I can't even begin. But yeah. That's what I had to do for the last year and a bit. Year and 3 months-ish. Year and 2 months. Something like that. For the last 400 days. But now it is June. I am at peace with all that stuff that has happened, but it still angers me to this day. I hated... for the first 3 months living in that house, it was fine, and then Mr. Butt started complaining that everything was this, everything was that. It just went downhill. And honestly, I knew from the first day we moved in there that I knew the house was going to be a temporary situation. I knew it wasn't going to be long lasting. And it wasn't. I wasn't even surprised when I knew that we had to leave. I wasn't surprised. I said, I already knew this was going to be temporary. And I knew it. I knew it. But yeah, don't rent from slumlords. Rent from a reasonable place, like a place or a company. Make sure you have enough money to cover your rent and extra. Make sure you have money to cover all your bills and whatnot. Just don't rent from a slumlord. Don't rent from a Mr. Butt, because he will make your life a living hell. Trust me. I know. Anyways, thank you for watching my rant. My name is King Awesome, and I will see you in the next video. Wow. Peace.